afternoon, everyone. My name is Ahmed, and today I'll be doing a presentation, webinar about product manager, product owner, and Scrum Master. Who they are, what do they do, how are they different from each other? We will be covering today project manager, product owner, Scrum Master, what do they do, and how are they different? Okay, so first of all, we'll go, what is a project? A project is a set of tasks which must be completed to arrive at a particular goal or outcome. It could be anything. It could be a project could be an application for a mobile app. It could be a house which you want to construct. It could be a renovation project. It could be something very, very technical, or it could be a very small, like you just want to build a chair. So this is what a project is described. Now, what is a project manager? Project manager is a person who is in charge of the project, who is really looking forward for the success, for the implementation, for the roadmap for this particular project, to align every single person in the team to work at one goal. So if you really see in the diagram here, the makeup of a project manager, he is responsible for the documentation. He is responsible for the assessment of the project. He is responsible for the budgeting. He is responsible for the scheduling, timeline. He is responsible for any hurdles, roadmaps, problem-solving skills, and then managing a relationship between the team members, between everybody who's participating for that project. A project manager is responsible for the project, for the outcome, for the success and the failure. The project manager's tasks are integration management, scope management, schedule management, cost management, quality management, resource management, communication management, risk management, recruitment management, and stakeholders management. So if we see in any project, he is basically the person whose neck is on the line, who is the person responsible to deliver it, who is the person responsible in case of failure. So he is also responsible to making sure our project is successful. The way in general a project is handled is a waterfall. If you see this diagram, it shows a waterfall project management. First of all, the requirements, then the design and architecture, then development and coding, okay, quality assurance, testing, implementation, and then maintenance and support. If you see in this waterfall project management, you see we start from requirement, then we go for design and structure. If there is a problem with design and structure, then we go back to the requirements. If we pass through the design architectures, then we go to this third step, which is development. If there's a problem in development, then we go back. So it could be that a project can take 1 month, 1 week, 2 months, 2 years, maybe a little more. By the time we will finish the project, it can basically really because of these circles going around and around, it can be very, very tricky. It can be very, very hurdles which can come in the pathway. that we're not able to deliver the project on time. If we are not able to deliver the project on time, maybe the requirement of the project is not there anymore. Because of the way things happen in today's world, in a day, in a week, in a month, the requirements change. Really the need of that particular product is not there anymore. Or maybe the way we are developing it, it's not required in that particular way. So this is why this waterfall project management is basically a bit outdated. Now we go towards agile methodology. Agile is basically a mindset. If we really see as the word describes, it's agile means very quick, okay, not dependent. Basically, agile mindset can be described by 4 values, okay, and it can be defined by 12 principles. In agile methodology, we have Kanban, we have Scrum, we have extreme programming, we have future-driven development, dynamic system development method, Crystal, and Lean. These are different frameworks. In agile mindset, what we do is, what are the core 4 values for it? Okay. Individual and interactions over process and tools. Okay. So in agile framework, we work with individuals, every team member, and their interactions, the quick interactions over processing, and tools means we do not send emails if we get to a hurdle, if we want to know something, we would be quick on a Zoom call. Okay, we'll be very quick over the call. Okay, we will not be really focusing on the processes and the tools. Rather, we will support each other and the individuals and give them priority to overcome any hurdles. Working product over comprehensive documentation. Sometimes what happens is, in theory, a project looks very good. In theory, it's very, very easy to go and very quick that we can really do the project. But once we come to really implementing it, once we come to really working towards it, then we come to know that it's really not going as we had planned. So we work on in Agile framework, we work on the product rather than we spend our time over documentation, we spend time over planning, we spend time over thinking about it. We go towards the product, we go towards getting to know it. We want to know how it works, what is the requirement, and what needs to be delivered. Customer collaboration over contract negotiations. Okay. When we do go towards customer collaboration over contract negotiation means that we work towards what is the requirement of the customer, what a customer is looking for in the product, rather than we go in theory again. And in terms of contract negotiations, we go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. For example, if we do a contract negotiations with the customer, we can collaborate over a Google document, where our lawyers and their lawyers can collaborate, save time, do the changes, and finalize the contract quickly. And rather spending time over that, we would be getting to know the requirement of the customers. What are they really looking for? Responding to change over following a plan, that means that, as it says, it's very simple, very straightforward, that whenever the change is required in terms of a delivery, in terms of a product, we plan a thing, maybe down the line, the customer requires us to do some changes over it. So we are not rigid that, we have planned it, we have focused on one thing and we cannot change it. So we are always welcoming the change. We are always responding to the change. We are always responding to the requirements of the customer and the client. whenever they are looking for it. Okay, so now we have looked at the waterfall. Now we are looking at the Scrum framework and how it works. In Scrum framework, you need to remember there is one product owner, and then there is a team, and then there is a Scrum Master. The product owner gets the input from the executives, from the customers, from the stakeholders. He's responsible for the product backlog. He's responsible for the sprint planning meetings with the team. Okay, he is then there within the planning meeting. Then you have sprint backlogs. Okay, and then you have a Scrum Master, which is basically a bridge between product owner and the team. Scrum Master works like the interpreter who really communicates what is the requirement of the product owner, or in terms, simple words, if we say the end user, and delivers it to the team, keeps the team together, keeps them focused on their goals, and then gets it delivered. So these are the three main pillars of a Scrum framework. In sprint planning, then we have sprint backlog. Okay, then we have sprint end date and team deliverable don't change. Okay, so the sprint planning goes for first we have the sprint which goes from 1 to 4 weeks. In a sprint team, you were talking about between 5 to 8 people. It could be more, it could be less. Then we have daily Scrum meetings, which is really daily briefing in simple words, if we say, where we look at the backlogs, we look at the reviews, what we have done, what if we have any hurdle points, if things are not going, or we are having any points where we need to sort them out. Okay, and one sprint goes from 1 to 4 weeks. Then we go again back to sprint planning, retrospective. Okay, and once we have completed a sprint, okay, then we go for the review, and after that, the product is finished. Then we go for another sprint. Again, it goes back to sprint planning, sprint. Then the Scrum Master comes in for the sprint backlog, and from there on, we move forward. Now we see what is a product. A product is the item offered for sale. A product can be a service or an item. It can be physical or in virtual or in cyber form. Anything which we can sell is basically a product. It could be like in the way it shows, it could be a car, it could be a house, it could be a services which you provide like customer care, it could be in terms of virtual help, or it could be in terms of a cyber form, which means that really not physically present, but in terms of an application. Now we go towards the product owner. The product owner is basically a person who is a customer in your team. Okay, why he or she is called the product owner? Why does he or she owns the product? Is he or she standing representative of the end user? Can you think of him or her as side customer? First of all, why is he or she is called the product owner is as simple as it states, because they own the knowledge, they own the information, they own the product. They get all the information required from the stakeholders, from the customers, and they know the product. So this is why they are called product owner. Thus, he or she owns the product. When we say they own the product, it's not generally literally means like they own it. But when we say they owning it, it means they have a very detailed knowledge about the product, what is required from the product, uh, what exactly what the customers or the stakeholders are looking for in the product. So in the Scrum team, for us, the person owns the product because he is basically representing the customer, he is representing the stakeholders, he is representing the end user. Is he or she standing representative of the end user? Definitely, because a product owner knows the requirement of the product. The product owner knows that what needs to be done with the product, what are the requirements, what are the outcomes of the product. So that particular person is standing representative as an end user. The person, product owner, would know how to use that particular product, what is the required uh, information or required requirement of the stakeholders and the customers. So they would be uh, presenting themselves at the end user and using that product. Can you think of him or her as on-site customers? Yes. As I said, they are the owner of the product. They have the comprehensive knowledge. They know everything about the product. They know exactly what the product is going to be used for, what market it's going to be used for what purpose it's going to be used for. So basically, they will be representing themselves as end user. They will be representing themselves as a customer. They will be using that product as end user for it to be able to deliver as required by the customer or the stakeholders by the team. What are the responsibilities of a product owner? Okay. Now, the product owner is basically a person who is the bridge, who has the comprehensive knowledge, who is the person who knows the product, the requirement of the product. He knows that what or she knows that what is required by the client. Okay, so the main responsibility of a product owner is maintaining the team backlog, iteration planning, just-in-time story collaboration, apply behavioral-driven development, accepting user stories, understand enabler work, participate in the team demo and retrospective. Maintaining the theme backlog is required by the product owner because he knows he has the comprehensive knowledge. He knows the background. He knows the user stories. He knows what the client is looking for, or stakeholders are looking for. So this is why the person responsible for maintaining the team backlog is the product owner. Then he plays an important role in the planning. He plays an important role in accepting the stories. He plays an important role in elaboration of the stories. What are the user stories? Uh, in basic terms, if I say is that he knows the product, so he is the communicator between a non-technical person to a technical person to be able to deliver the product which is required. So he's the person who would be accepting the stories, understanding the enabler work, participating in team demo because he, as we said, as we know, that he's the person who is an end user, who's a standing customer. So he would be the person who would be saying, okay, uh, this sprint is okay. We are able to deliver what we were looking for, okay, and all of that. So the product owner itself is the person who can say, okay, we have got the product, what we were looking for, as per the requirement of the client, as per the requirement of the stakeholders, and as per what they were really looking for from the product. So by doing all these duties, he will be able to uh, really get the product as required by the client to the client. Okay, let me just rephrase this one more time. Maintaining the team backlog, iteration planning, just in time, story elaboration, apply behavioral driven development, accepting stories, understanding enabler work, participate in team demo and retrospective. Now it comes to Scrum Master. Who is a Scrum Master? Why do we need a Scrum Master? Okay, so basic, as you can see, Scrum Master is basically a servant leader. Scrum Master is a coach. Scrum Master is a facilitator. Scrum Master is a teacher. What are the responsibilities of a Scrum Master? Scrum Master exhibits lean agile leadership, supports the team role, facilitates the team's progress towards the team goal, leads the team efforts in relentless improvements, facilitates the events, facilitates the removal of impediments, builds a high performing team, coordinates with other teams, facilitates preparation and readiness of hard events, supports estimating. So basically, the Scrum Master is a leader of the team who is basically working as a bridge. Again, as we said, the product owner is a bridge between the stakeholders, customers, end users, and the team. And the Scrum Master is a bridge between product owner and the technical team. They exhibit lead agile leadership. They support the team rule because they want to make sure the team works together for the same outcome. The reason of that would be to make sure that the outcome is as required by the product owner or is able to deliver. They facilitate the team's progress towards team goals in case of any hurdle, in case of any blockage. They facilitate in terms of anything which is not clear. They facilitate the team. They elaborate. They make sure the team knows what needs to be done. They lead the team in relentless improvements whenever it's required. For example, in a daily scrum, in the startups, uh, they are facing any issues, Scrum Master is the person who will be coming up, stepping in, looking at the blockage, looking at the efforts required to remove those. They facilitate all the events. Okay, as we said, just the removal of any impediments. Okay, they keep the team together. As it says, builds a high performing team is because Scrum Master is the person who is responsible for making sure all the team participants are delivering as required. Everybody is working on separate user stories. Everybody is working as per their expected performance. and they are delivering what is required by them. If any individual in the team does not perform as required or as expected, Scrum Master is the person who would be knowing that, who would be looking after that particular person, who would be looking forward to see how to improve that person's performance so that it does not affect the team, so that it does not affect the outcome. Okay. And the Scrum Master is basically the person who is the bridge between the teams as well. So that if one team is working on one particular user story and the other teams are working on other user stories, so they will be communicating with each other to know if everything is on time, everything is as expected, everything is as planned. If not, how can they can improve those things? If not, if we don't really if the other team is not able to deliver, what is it going to become a hurdle? If it's going to become a hurdle, how to remove those hurdles? So they play a bridge. It's a very, very important thing that they coordinate with other teams as well, because at the end, all the teams are working to make sure that the end product gets delivered as soon as possible within the time. Okay, they also facilitates preparation and readiness of the arguments. Okay, they also supports the estimating the time which would be required. For example, how many user stories they can take in at one time, how much time would they need for each user story. So they would be calculating all of it. So they basically are really responsible for the planning of a Scrum event. They want to make sure that what's required by the team gets delivered, what is committed by them to the product owner gets delivered. They keep an open communication with the product owner, with the other Scrum Masters of the other team, so that nothing gets affected in terms of the delivery, in terms of the quality, in terms of what is required, the product at the end of the day, what they're looking for, what product owners has asked for it. So to make everything seamless, effortless, they're the person who are responsible for it. Do we really need Scrum Masters? The question is, why do we need Scrum Masters? Once we have the product owner, we have the technical team, so why do we need a Scrum Master? The product owner is a non-technical person who is there, who is basically knows the product which is required, which is needed. Okay, he can deliver the message to the team and get things done. So why do we need a Scrum Master? But we need a Scrum Master because the Scrum Master ensures the best practices of product management. It means the Scrum Master knows that each every single team member. The Scrum Master works as a bridge between product owner and the team. The Scrum Master wants to know that how the things can be delivered, and the Scrum Master is there to make the team most effective. For say, if we are working in a team, and the team is working in at the individual capacity, we have 5 to 8 people in a team. We need a person who can really uh, help the team to be together. We can see the team to be working at one platform, you know. But at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, the team is humans, right? So to keep them together, to keep them focused, to keep them working optimized, working at the best, so we need a person who can keep them gelled. And this way they can increase the productivity. This way they can deliver the product in a better quality, in less amount of time, and in the best possible way where they can. If we don't have a Scrum Master, team can still deliver. But who would be the person who from the team would be looking forward or talking to the product owner and the other Scrum teams? Who's the person who would we have making sure if four team members are working great and one is not able to deliver what the person is supposed to deliver, who would look after them? Who would keep track of all the progress which is happening? Who will make sure that the agile practices are in place? Who would make sure that the Scrum team is effectively working as required to their optimum level? Who would be the complete process owner? So the Scrum Master is basically an important backbone. As I said, the product owner is related to the customer and the technical team. And then we have the Scrum Master, who's the backbone between the product owner and the technical team, who makes sure that all the processes are in place, who makes sure that all the user stories are in place, who makes sure all the backlogs are in place, who makes sure all the other Scrum teams are working fine, and who makes sure that all the user stories on which all the user stories the team have accepted, they're working and performing to their optimum level and delivering the product which is required by the product owner on time, as per the quality and the requirements which is required by the product owner. If we don't have a Scrum Master, okay, we just have a team. Then all of these things, we will not have anybody to really take the responsibility to make sure the team is going to deliver on time. The team is working in an agile framework. The team is working with all the processes in place. The team is working at the optimum level where the for the quality which is required by the product owner or the end user or the client or the stakeholder. So this is why we really need this Scrum Master. If we now see the main focus, we have the project manager, we have the product owner, we have the Scrum Master. Okay, project manager is basically a person responsible for the complete project. He is focused on delivering the project on time within the budget. The project manager is responsible to make sure all the hurdles which comes in the project, success and the failure is towards him. The key skills for the project manager are leadership. He needs to have leadership qualities. He needs to have time management skills. He needs to have risk management skills. Why do we need a project manager as a leader? Because the person is responsible. He has a lot on his shoulder, and he is the ultimate person for the success and the failure of the project. Time management, because he needs to, deliver the project within time frame. He needs to make sure that it does not go out of required time limits. For example, which a product which needs to be delivered in 6 months, it doesn't get dragged for a year or year and a half. Risk management, because he needs to see all the pros and cons, all the positives and negatives. He needs to make sure that all the hurdles are removed. He wants really, he's the person responsible to see and anticipate all the risk factors which he will be facing in terms of delivery of the project. The main duties of a project manager are managing the project, organization, monitoring and measuring the progress, and the team management. Because as a project manager, he is whole school in charge of the complete organization. It's like in simple way, if you say if you're building a house and you have given a task to a contractor, the contractor becomes a project manager. He needs to anticipate in advance how long will it take, how much it will cost, what hurdles he can face, what things he would require, equipment he would require, okay, and financially, the budgeting, how much it would need to deliver the house. If any of his calculations are not on track, if any of his calculations are not as per the requirement of the customers, in simple words, it can be a big, huge disaster or a failure. So the project manager is really focused on delivering the project on time and within the budget. Now we go towards product owner. Okay. So the basic difference between a project manager and a product owner. Okay. Then we talked about a project and we are talking about a product. They're two different things. So now in agile mindset, we call it a product owner. Product owner is the person who knows, who discusses, gets the information, each and everything in terms of finances, in terms of what is required by the end user or client or stakeholders, the purpose of it, how it needs to be operated, what needs to be delivered, and in what time it needs to be. So that's the person is product owner. He's the person who purely works on the product quality. He'll come back to you, he will keep asking you about the quality, because he'll be using the product as an user, he'll be using it as a customer, because he's the person responsible for delivering of the product. He's the main person for the communication, negotiation, decision making, because he's the person who will get to know all of this information from the customer, from the stakeholders, from the clients, and then he would deliver that information to the team. If he's not good in communicating, if he's not good in negotiations, if he's not able to make decisions, if he does not know if that product, if he has the team to deliver that product, if he's not sure about what is required by the end user, uh, the team cannot deliver. So the product owner is basically a bridge between a technical team and the user, or in terms of a buyer and the technical team. Okay, what needs to be built, how it needs to be built, in what time frame it needs to be built, in what budget it needs to be built, why it needs to be built, and whatnot and whatnot. So he has a lot of whys in his questions so that he understands the product which needs to be delivered. He wants to make sure he maximizes the value of profit and the product quality is basically in simple words, if I say, okay, maximizing the value of profit, taking care of the product quality, providing the elections to the product. Okay, so he wants to make sure that the value of the profit, the quality of the product, and connection to the product, everything is aligned together. Uh, he wants to make sure what needs to be delivered is on time, within the budget, as required by the client, by the technical team. He is basically is the person who can say who can give us a go ahead, or we need to go back for the user story. Okay. If we go towards the Scrum Master now, Scrum Master is focused on implementing the Scrum and team productivity because he's a technical person. He wants to make sure the team is working on the required product, which is required by the product owner. They are working on the same user stories which were accepted. They are working and performing at their optimum. Everybody's focused, and there are no hurdles or blockage in the process. The key skills for the Scrum Master is Scrum and Agile knowledge, communication skill, and the servant leadership. Scrum and Agile knowledge, if the person does not have, he would not be able to put the process in place. If the Scrum Master does not have the communication skills, he would not be able to communicate clearly to the team, to the other Scrum Masters, to the product owner. If we have gap in communication, then we ask for A and we could get Z. We ask for B and we could get A. So communication skills are the key for the Scrum Master. Then a Scrum Master is a servant leader because he is basically a leader who's serving the team, who's serving the product owner, who's serving the other teams and making sure the product gets delivered. What is required from the team. He's basically, in other words, simple words, you can say he's a facilitator for the team, for the product owner, for the other Scrum teams to make sure that the product which is required, the user stories on which the team is working, gets delivered on time, gets delivered as accepted. So he works as a facilitator to make sure the team is really working fine. The team is really working from implementation, any changes which is required to increase the of the team. So in terms of differences, if we say the project manager is person responsible for the project, the product owner is responsible for the product. The product owner is also an end user. A product owner is a bridge between the customer and the technical team. And the Scrum Master is a servant leader who works as a bridge between the product owner and the team, who is the key bridge to get the product delivered to the product owner as it is required by the product owner. So this is basically it. If anybody has any questions, you can write it on the chat. And let me see if we have any questions here. So far, nothing. Okay. Okay. No, we don't have any questions. So these are the basics for basic differences between project manager, product owner, and Scrum Master. We can get to know more about these because these are very, very detailed lectures. In other words, we'd say uh, for anybody to understand them more, and definitely we'll be able to deliver the information more as required, as requested, in the best possible way. Okay, I guess that's it then. Thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you guys sometime soon again somewhere.